Hello, and welcome back to another episode of Banish the Doubt. Welcome back, guys. This morning, I want to talk about releasing the resistance to your own greatness. You, me, everybody watching this, we all have greatness within us. And I'm hoping you guys can see this and read it. If not, I'm going to read along so you guys can get this. And I've said this a few times now in a couple of videos, because I feel this is so very important for us to understand. It comes from Bashar, and it's something that really resonated with me, and I'm hoping it's going to resonate with you. We all have what's called a motivational mechanism, okay? Before I start there, I just want to remind everybody, it does not matter what happens. It only matters what I do, what we do with what happens. I'll say it again. In our life, in every moment of our life, it never ever matters what happens. It only matters what we do with what happens. So, like I said, we all have this motivational mechanism. I have it, you have it. Okay? It works all the time. It works immediately without fail. What you believe, so you always choose in the direction. You, me, we always choose in the direction that we feel best serves us. Always, without fail. What we believe over the alternative. So we always choose in the direction we feel that best serves us, always, without fail, what we believe to be more beneficial than the alternative. You always move away from what you believe does not benefit you. Always. If you are not letting go, okay, and moving in a direction that you prefer to, that can only mean we have a belief to stay where we are that makes staying where we are more beneficial than where it is we prefer to go. Usually, but not always, this translates to, if I let go, something will happen that I don't prefer to happen. This is what is meant by being afraid. We are projecting, or the negative belief is convincing us that if we do let go and become who we prefer to be, that something worse and less beneficial will happen than simply remaining where we are. Now, does this sound like a good motivational mechanism to you? Okay. This here keeps us from going towards, or is one of the blocks that keeps us from stretching out to go after what we know inside we can be, that greatness that I'm talking about here this morning. Okay? So, you cannot experience what you are not the vibration of, period. When we start to feel that this greatness is within us and we start to tap into it, and we do that by becoming present, we do that by closing our eyes and just being present. We start to be quiet and we let that inner voice start to take over, and we start to listen to it without judgment. Okay? You will not be able to receive or be in, or whatever it is that greatness I'm talking about will be invisible. It has been invisible to you up to this point. Okay? Doors will stay closed to you. Doors that will otherwise open for you if you just start to become still and quiet and start to live in the moment, live in the now, and understand that this greatness is within you, whatever it may be for you. It's different for you than it is for me and for anybody else watching this, okay? Do not dwell on the imperfection of yourself or others. To do so is to impress the subconscious with these limitations. Never do that. So from this video forward, never look at or point out or judge another's perceived imperfections. To do that is saying that you are imperfect. See, whenever we judge something or somebody, we're not labeling that, we're not judging them. All we're saying is that we are somebody who needs to judge, that we are projecting onto them our own sense of insecurity and lack of self-worth. So we never want to do that. We make our state of being, our self-worth, conditional on what happens in this illusionary reality. So we base our self-worth, our state of being, that's conditioned on what happens outside, on what they say, on what they're doing. That's one of the biggest blocks to recognizing this inner greatness within us. This is from Bashar as well, you have to know whatever happens in your life, whatever pops up, certain circumstance takes place at work and you didn't see it coming, okay? Or you didn't perceive it to come. Whatever pops up, however it looks, must be there for a positive reason. So whatever happens in our life, whatever just happens to pop up, we start from this video forward, we start to review it and say, okay, what is the positive message in here, in this happenstance, this thing that just popped up? What is it trying to tell me? What can I extract from this positively? We start to change internally, we start to change this mechanism inside of us that for so long has always looked at and viewed things through the negative filter or this negative prism. We start to look at and extract the positive because we're always learning. I tell my son this all the time whenever he's practicing baseball in the batting cage or whatever it may be. You're never, ever, ever making a mistake. You're always learning. You change the definition. This is what we want to do. We want to change our definitions. Something that pops up, we change the definition from it being negative to how can I glean from this that's something positive that can help me to grow? There's a message here. What is this message? If you stay in that frame of mind, you will be able to use even what you don't prefer in a way that you do prefer. That's how you use a negative positively. Okay? If you decide to stay in this frame of mind, you will be able to use even what you don't prefer in a way that you do prefer. This is tremendously huge by Bashar, huge. Take this, write this down, put it on your dashboard, put it in your mirror in the morning when you're brushing your teeth, put it everywhere. Put it on your tablet, put it on your screensaver. Read this over and over and over again. I can't tell you how important this is to change our inner dialogue with ourselves and our inner dialogue with reality. You start to do this, guys, and I'm telling you, that voice that stirs inside of you right now watching this, if you're starting to feel it, starting to sort of like percolate, it's there for a reason. It's waking up. Blaise Pascal, back in 1630, I want you to sink in for a second. This is a quote from a man who lived back in 1630. He said, all of man's troubles stem from his inability to sit quietly in a room alone. Now, there was a study done, I don't know how many years ago, at a university, and it was from both men and women. And they asked them, they had two choices. Choice A, sit alone with their thoughts for 15 minutes. Choice B, or give yourself an electric shock. 70% of the women chose the electric shock. And I believe it was the same, about the same 60%, they were about 65% of the men chose the electric shock. 1630, guys, Blaise Pascal said this. We don't like to be alone with our thoughts. But I just established before this, if we change the thoughts to positive on how we can learn instead of what's negative, we can then defeat this inner dialogue, this conditioned behavior and thinking. It's all conditioned. It's all conditioned from when we were little children, when we first emanated to this world. So, that as a premise, okay? We only deserve things through hard work, struggle, sacrifice, and effort. This comes from Dr. Hawkins from the book Letting Go. He said that this is part of the conditioned behavior, the conditioned mindset that we have, the society has put on us. We only deserve things through hard work, struggle, sacrifice, and effort. I can remember coming home many times from school, my father sitting at the dinner table, all full of mud and dirt, his fingers, bleeding or dry blood from his work in the landscaping. But he wore this as a badge. He felt he deserved that hard work, that struggle, that effort, sweat, dry sweat on his brow, because that's how you get success. That's how you become successful. I'm not saying if that path for you is through that's your path, that you do that type of work, but understand that's not how we're supposed to be deemed as successful. Okay? Suffering is good for us. How many times have we heard no pain, no gain, right? Suffering is good. These are the conditioned behaviors that we have been led to believe how we become successful. It's not that at all, okay? Things that are very simple aren't worth much. Another mindset that we've been told to believe. Things that are simple, very simple, aren't worth much. Well, if you're not struggling, if you're not burning the midnight oil, right? If you're not working overtime, 40-hour week? No, 60, minimum 60. If we're not doing that, if we're not struggling, then it's really not successful. We're really not being successful. Banish this from your mind, from this video forward. Okay, I'm going to explain to you why. There is one thing the world does not want us to find out. Again, this is from Dr. Hawkins, the book Letting Go. There's one thing the world does not want us to find out, and that is the truth about ourselves. Why? Because then we will become free, no longer being controlled, manipulated, exploited, drained, disempowered. We learn to empower ourselves. The world does not want us to be empowered. They want us to be slaves, enslaved. They want us to go to the state or whoever and say, I'm not worthy enough. I recently I work. I have a part-time job with Brooks Brothers, and recently the corporate staff came into the store, and I watched this one gentleman who was a tremendous salesman. He changed. He changed within minutes. His whole demeanor, his whole mindset changed to that of I'm not worthy. Okay? I'm being manipulated, I'm being controlled, I'm exploited, but they're controlling how I think. And I said, well, no, you want to look at this as they should be happy, which they are, that you're there. You're a fantastic salesperson, but he doesn't see it. He doesn't see what I see, what others see. And that's a shame. And that's how a lot of us go through our life. We're blind to what we see because we see ourselves through this filter of negativity. We don't see ourselves as this pure, perfect human being, this spiritual being having this human existence. So we're all spiritual beings, just having this human existence. And I don't say that we're perfect and everything is absolutely perfect with us from an ego standpoint, not a bravado or what have you. It's more of a knowing that I live in this moment, and in this moment right now, everything works out for me. My life is perfect the way it is right now, the way it was intended. We were not created with, there's like a part, something from, like, say, Home Depot. Well, you're missing a few parts. We were never created that way. We were created perfectly. But it's our mindset. It's how we've been conditioned to believe that we're not, that something is wrong. No longer. You have the power. You, me, we have power. This comes from the book Feeling is a Secret by Neville Goddard. Can you see yourself in the end? Can you, watching this, can you see yourself, that greatness that's stirring in you, whatever that may be? Can you see yourself in the end? Can you see yourself obtaining that or doing that or enjoying a lifestyle, whatever that lifestyle is? Can you see your objective as reality? See, because we want to look at it as it's happening right now. I am living it right now because we are. Everything in this world is nothing more than just billions and billions and billions of minutes of now. It's now o'clock. You want to see yourself in the end. You want to see yourself, this objective, as your reality, as being true, living your truth. What is your truth? What is that's that greatness that stirs inside of you? That's who you are at your core. That is who you are. That person, that entity that sits inside of you, that stirs inside of you as you're watching this video. Okay. Our conditioned block or collective unconscious. We don't even, Carl Jung said, the collective unconscious. Okay. We don't understand this. We can't consciously see this until now. One of the blocks to becoming acquainted with the fears or doubts in one's own mind is the fear or the doubt of the opinions of others, the wanting of their approval goes on inside of our minds in a constant fantasy. I can't tell you how important this is to understand this block. This was a block that I've had for most of my life, of what they think of me, of what they think my success should look like. It starts in the beginning in our homes with our relatives, as well intentioned as they were or are, but don't they always, what's the that commercial, right? You see Aunt Betty, whatever it is, coming over and she's looking in the refrigerator, expired, 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 expired. And the other aunt looks and says, nice home, you could keep it, right? But isn't that how we're conditioned to believe about ourselves? That, well, they have the best intentions. From this video forward, start to, again, this quote, if you can see this quote and write it down. This is from the book Letting Go by Dr. Hawkins, okay? We identify with the opinions of others, including authority figures. This was a big one for me growing up, and a lot of us grow up in these types of tribal type of upbringings, right? And I'm not saying you don't be disrespectful, but you have to respect your elders. You have to. I remember one time coming home from school. I was, I don't know, third, fourth grade. And as I was coming up the steps, I could look inside the house and I saw that soap opera was on. And I said, oh, soap opera's on. Grandma must be here. And my mom lost it. And how dare you say that? That's not right. She should be able to sit in. But, I'm much, much older than that. And that I can still see that in my mind right now as I'm standing here. Wisdom, okay? Wisdom is the ability to see our memories without the attached emotion. That's what wisdom is. That's huge. Okay, it's the ability to be able to see our memories without the attached emotion. This is huge. So, and we identify with the opinions of others, including authority figures, and coalesce this in such a way we hear it, okay, as our own opinions of ourselves. So let me say it one more time, you guys. Again, write this down: dashboard, mirror in the bathroom, your laptop, your computer, whatever it may be. One of the blocks to becoming acquainted with the fears, or I put your doubts, our doubts, is in one's own mind, is the fear, or I put again the doubt of the opinions of others, the wanting of their approval goes on inside of our minds in a constant fantasy. We identify with the opinions of others, including authority figures, and coalesce this in such a way that we hear it, okay? We live this, we hear it in our minds as our own opinions of ourselves. Every feeling makes a subconscious impression, and unless it is counteracted by a more powerful feeling of an opposite nature, it must be expressed. This is from Neville Goddard in Feeling is a Secret. Okay? The dominant of two feelings is the one expressed. I am healthy is more powerful than I will be healthy. To feel I will be is to confess I am not. I am is stronger than I am not. What you feel you are always dominates what you feel you would like to be. So, again, going back to this inner greatness that's within us, we start to identify it as I am, whatever that is for you. You out there watching this, you are an author. You know that that book is stirring inside of you right now. You out there watching this, you know that that promotion, that job is what you want, or starting your own business. You know that this stirs inside of you. As of starting right now, you look at this as you see yourself as I am that. Okay, because remember, and we start to feel it, because every feeling we have makes a subconscious impression in our mind. And unless it's counteracted by a more dominant feeling, it must be expressed. Okay, so therefore, to be realized, your wish must be felt as a state that is, rather than a state that is not. Live the life, go the way, show the way, because you know the way. This is how we live in the moment, and we draw that to us. We learn it's right here, it's right now. When you identify that which stirs inside, act on it to the best of your ability with absolutely no insistence on what the outcome ought to be or look like. This is, again, from Bashar. Whatever it is that stirs inside of you right now watching this, I want you to act on it to the best of your ability with absolutely no insistence on what the outcome ought to be or what it ought to look like. Just enjoy it, live it right here, right now in this moment. Act on it to the best of your ability, okay? Bashar talks about what the way we live our life is we do whatever excites us in the moment, whatever it may be. If it's for me making a video, make a video. If it's for you taking a walk, you want to go to the beach, you take a walk, you go to the beach. It excites you, it's what you start to do irregardless of what it is. You don't judge it, you just do it. This is something that I'm learning to do. We live our life in each moment of saying, this is what this excites me. I want to do this. Now, what excites you is to walk off your job, you may not want to just do that, but you understand that you want to live your life until you can afford to walk off your job, doing the things that excite you in the moment, and then you go on to the next one, and you do it, and it excites you until you run out of that energy and that excitement, and you go on to the next thing. Okay, you may not be conscious of your inner greatness, but it resides inside. We may not be experiencing it, but it is there. So this is how we start to remove the blocks from who we are, our greatness inside. This is how we start to do that. We become present. We learn that, yes, being alone, being present with our thoughts is the step towards unlocking that greatness that lies inside of us. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching these videos, commenting on these videos, and sharing these videos. It's so very important. Videos like this get out to the world, because the more people in the world who can, like Dr. Hawkins says, become free, the healthier everybody becomes, and the healthier our planet becomes. Thank you so much for subscribing. Please, if you haven't done so, you want to subscribe, hit the notification bell so you receive all these videos. Until I see you guys again, God bless you and have a wonderful day.